Joan Quinn Profiles. As an editor for Andy Warhol's Interview, the Los Angeles Herald-Examiner, LA Style, and Detour magazines, Joan covered the social set, the Hollywood hotshots, the international art scene, the mysteries of food, the excitement of travel, and the fabulous world of fashion. Joan continues to find creative people on the cutting edge who make things happen. Here's Joan Quinn.
Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome to the Joan Quinn Profiles. Waiting to be profiled is filmmaker Megumi Sasaki and actress Asli Bayram. Director-producer Megumi Sasaki was born and raised in Sapporo, Japan. She went to Aoyama University in Tokyo, where she studied French literature. Megumi worked at the giant communications company NHK as a broadcaster and was a reporter on their popular AM news program, Ohio Nippon. Did French literature lead you to a path in journalism?
Not at all.
No, what were you going to do with it?
I know that's the most unpractical study I ever had. I didn't really think I can get anything out of it. It was just to nurture your soul and spirit.
But you know, French was very important in Tokyo during the 80s. There were a lot of French restaurants.
Was it really?
Yeah, I remember that. And I was
Okay.
like, what are these French chefs doing here?
Oh.
But it was way ahead of the game. Maybe you were too.
No, I really didn't put too much thinking, what kind of major I would take. It was just the only university that I passed exams through the all this Japanese educational system. So
Then you worked there. You worked in Tokyo for a while,
yes, I did.
and as a broadcaster for.
Actually, looking back, I worked for a film distributor.
Oh.
And
So was that a beginning of your film career?
I guess I can say that. It's funny thing is I never grew up having interest in film at all. And at the time, the horror film was so popular.
Which is now, again,
Yes,
very
I guess,
popular.
right?
Right.
And my job was to watch like hundreds of films every month. Go through the video tapes
Really?
and and decide how much we can put for the acquisition of the film. And so I was on the other side of the film industry.
I see. Why did you move to New York then?
It's a long story.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Well.
I'm actually still on the way home because I went to India, and after I finished I sort of quit the job, and I was totally burnt out. I got really exhausted and hospitalized even from overwork. It was a very, very demanding job.
And
And
so?
it was like in the peak of economic bubble in Japan.
I
So we
see.
worked so hard, almost to death.
And then did you do that kind of work when you got to New York?
No, I had a friend living in New York, so I was going to just stop by and stay in New York for a while, and then head back to Tokyo and find a new job.
So this is 22 years later?
That's right.
You're still on your way
I'm still
home?
on the way home, yeah.
Well, when you were in New York, or now you're still in New York, but when you
Right.
moved there, were you covering different events for Tokyo TV?
Yes, I have, yes. First, I started as a print journalist.
I see.
So I was writing articles about all kinds of things happening in New York City. And then my big break was in 1989, and actually 1990, right after the fall of Berlin Wall.
Oh, did you cover that?
Yes, I went there as an independent freelance writer and photographer.
see.
I knew very little about writing and taking pictures.
Because you were in French literature.
Oh, that's right. French literature hasn't come in handy.
Not at all.
Not yet.
Okay, well, let's say you're living in New York and you're on your way back to Tokyo year after year after year.
Right.
And now you're a filmmaker with an incredible film called Herb and Dorothy.
Thank you.
How did you find the subject for this documentary that you made?
Yes, it was 2002, and I was assigned to work on the educational program for NHK, Japanese Public Television.
Oh, so we're back to NHK.
Right. That was the program to feature the artist Christo and Jean-Claude.
Oh, I see.
We were in National Gallery and
in Washington.
In Washington, and shooting the exhibition of the artist. And all the works at the exhibition came from Herb & Dorothy's collection, and somebody told me who they were.
Oh, they did?
Yes.
Were they on view?
That was on view. It was
an exhibition of
yes.
them?
Oh, Christo and Jean-Claude.
Oh, of theirs.
That's right. That was prior to the Gates project in New York. It was 2002.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so moved by the story. I never could imagine that's a true story. What an amazing story.
Well, who told you their story?
Actually, that was the publicist and assistant / friend of Christo and Jean-Claude who
see.
came along with the crew.
I see. Oh, so you were doing the story on Jean-Claude and Christo.
That's right.
And then they told you about the Vogels.
That's right,
Okay.
because all the works at the exhibition was a part of the Vogels collection.
Oh, they were, I see.
So I was so moved by it, and then I went to the bookstore, museum bookstore on the way out, bought the catalog of their collection, and I was hoping I can do something with it, with the story, whether I write for the Japanese publication or I can make a proposal for Japanese television, and I wasn't sure, just hoping that I can do something with the story. And 2.5 years later, I happened to meet them in person.
Oh, it took a long time.
It took a long time. The books, was sitting on my bookshelf for 2.5 years.
So you just continued to work, and was it on your mind all the time?
It was on the corner of my mind, but I never took any action. Didn't do that.
Well, where did you meet him? At an art gallery? At an opening?
Actually, that was another function, again, of the Christo and Jean-Claude at the
so
Gracie Mansion.
Oh,
that was some kind of New York City's Arts Commission's event, I think to honor her, Christo and Jean-Claude.
I see.
Yes, and then they were there, and oh my God, this is a famous.
Did you hit it off right away with them? How did you get them to let you to follow them around with the camera? Because how many hours of footage did you shoot?
We shot in total of 120 hours, and it took me 4 years.
Oh, over a 4-year period?
Yes, over the four-year period.
So now, tell me, why did they say yes to you?
Well, the answer is they never told no to anybody. I later learned
They're
that.
like me.
Yeah, I just learned later on that there are many established documentary filmmakers approached them, proposed the idea of making a documentary film about them, and they never said no to anybody.
But nobody did it.
They all said, well, okay, that's great, so we'll come back after we raise funding, and nobody did.
Oh, that's my next question. How did you raise the funding? How did you get the financing for an independent film?
Well, before I answer that question, the reason why I could get in, started the production, is because this is my first film, and I never imagined that there's such thing like fundraising needs to be done.
Oh, you were totally oblivious to everything.
Totally, that was from my ignorance, and I said, well, I can just, come in and with a little digital camera, fool them around for a while, and then there is a small film about, these two small, beautiful people.
Oh, that's great.
I didn't think it was gonna.
But then, how did it happen?
So, you mean the funding part of it? So, and after a while, I realized I do need a serious funding, and I teamed up with the executive producers, Muse Film and Television, and they helped.
Yes, but they had to believe. They had to believe in your project, and they had to go along with you.
Totally.
And they were right, because it's been the winner in 6 film festivals, and now it has a commercial release. And I got an email from someone at the museum saying, go over to the New Art and see this film. And I'm sure everyone can go on, they'll be able to buy it pretty soon and see it. But who were these people that you're talking about, these sweet people, Herb and Dorothy Vogel? I have this little picture of them, but tell me who they were and how they got started as collectors.
Okay. Herbert Vogel, he was a postal clerk. Dorothy Vogel was a librarian. They were both retired. And they started collecting art in early 60s, right after they got married. It started from, more likely, from Herbie. Herbie had a very strong interest in art. But he didn't even finish high school. He dropped out high school, but he self-taught on the art history. And he borrowed many, many art history books from the library. And that's how he learned about the history of art. And I think they trained his eyes too from there.
You think it was really trained, or do you think it was a person who just made friends with artists? This is what I was thinking. Made friends with artists, and he just loved that they were artists, so no matter what they were doing, he would say, this is great, just like he never said no. You know, everything that he looked at in your film, this is beautiful, this is great, this line is good.
Right.
And of course, he took art classes.
Right, he did take
so
art
he
classes,
knew what to look for line and color, and so did she.
So did she, but she didn't know anything about art until she got married to her.
Right, right. Oh, and he had started before that.
Right, and they first wanted to be an artist themselves.
Yes, I thought that was very interesting.
Yes, yes. So they do have a sort of artist's mind rather than collector's mind, I think.
Well, rather than saying, no, this should be red, because I remember seeing people coming in and telling artists, no, I don't like that line, it should be round. And I'm going like, how can they tell an artist what to do? But those people said, this is great.
That's right, yes. So, so they just kept collecting, and at one point they had a little collection of the works and looked around, it's much better than their own paintings. So they stopped painting and decided to just be a collector.
Well, where did you get all the vintage footage? Because you talked about their years from getting married all the way to now.
Right.
And you had all this vintage footage and music.
Yes. And
stills, too.
Yes. Well, it was almost like the archaeological dig in their apartment. And we discovered more than 1,000. I think we archived more than 1,000 photographs. So
photographs of them?
Yes.
Oh, that's where you got
the pictures,
it all.
yes, along all these years from their childhood. It took us weeks to go through it, and Dorothy was very patient to go through and explain to us.
And then you got all these artists to be on camera.
Yes.
Linda Benglis, who's a great friend of ours. We love Linda. We have some of her work. And she's so great. She sat there and started laughing with you about how they would come into the studio, right?
Yes, I think that happens a lot. That it all happened with the artists.
And Mangold. Who else did you get? The artist.
Richard Tuttle.
He was fabulous, wasn't he?
Yes. And then Chuck Close.
Excellent.
Lucio Pazzi, Will Barnett.
Will Barnett was wonderful.
Yes.
But you were so lucky to get these people to talk.
Yes. Nobody said no.
Oh, the artist didn't say no either?
No. It's, you know, as soon as we bring up the Herbert Dorsey's name, like, the door seems to be wide open. And the big smile on their face, and it was such a wonderful experience.
The other thing, it's a documentary, but it's also like art, not history, but Art 101.
Right.
You teach about minimalism and conceptualism through the voice of those artists that you're talking about.
Thank you. But to be honest, I didn't know anything about art. Very little about contemporary art. I knew who Picasso was, I knew Andy Warhol, Roy Lichtenstein, but I knew very, very little about minimal conceptual art. And first I was so intimidated by it. Am I able to make a film about the art collectors, you know, who collected this very sophisticated art? But I figured that, you know, I should not feel so intimidated. Why art should be so intimidating? The art should not be limited for few wealthy or extremely educated people. So I made it as my goal to make this film as accessible as possible.
And that's what you did, and you showed that what they did wasn't all about money. It was about getting art out to people. Megumi, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
And thank you for watching this part of the Joan Quinn Profiles. We'll be right back with Asli Bayram. Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome back to the Joan Quinn Profiles. I'm with actress, model Asli Bayram, who was born in Germany to a Turkish family. She went on to school in Frankfurt, studied law, trained in the dramatic arts in Istanbul and Vienna, and Asli's been in film and on TV. Her theater work has been intense, with plays about Anne Frank and Adolf Eichmann, but your career prior to the theater must have been more fun, modeling and doing things like that.
Yes, modeling I don't do anymore. It's more acting.
Was it fun when you were modeling?
Oh, it was fun, of course, but it was just next to my study when I was studying law. And yeah, it was fun, yes.
In 2005, you were named Miss Germany.
Yes.
Miss Germany Universe?
Yes, Miss Germany Universe. I represented Germany in Miss Universe.
And you won?
2005. No.
You didn't win the title.
No, but all the girls who go there, they say Miss France Universe, Miss Germany Universe, and
well, so you won the title of Miss Germany Universe.
Yes. Yes.
Did you have to compete with other women for the big title?
No, I think all the girls who go to Miss Universe, it's already the big event for a Miss. So I think we all are winners. There are 100 beautiful girls, and I don't think it's easy to pick just one out. And so it's the 4 weeks time we have together. This is already a good moment, and it was for me too.
When you were talking about yourself and telling the judges what you did, one of the things you said was belly dancing.
Yes, I love dancing, also belly dancing till now, yes.
You still can do it.
I do it for myself.
And karate.
And karate I did I was a child till like my teen years. All my siblings also do karate. One is the world champion 2000.
Is that right?
She has a black belt.
You're kidding.
Her second dan now. Yes.
How big is your family?
Oh, we are 5 siblings, 4 girls and one younger brother.
One young brother that came
yes.
with you from
Yes.
Germany. Is he watching you?
For what?
Taking care of you?
Oh no, he's like my friend. All my siblings, we are like best friends.
He's not watching after you, huh?
Yeah.
Being in the Miss German Universe was a really big thing because you're of Turkish descent.
Yes.
And it was probably the first time, I think, that anyone won any kind of big title like that.
Yes, it was the first time that a Turkish decent girl with Turkish roots won the title.
Yes.
And I was asking me before why never a girl of Turkish descent participate, and I was very curious, like a journalist.
And
I wanted to know.
And why was it?
I don't know. Maybe either I don't know. I didn't saw them in the final even, and I just said, okay, I try. Why not? I'm curious. I wanted to see what's going on in kind of a beauty pageant, and I really end up being Miss Germany.
That's why you went the first place? Yeah. Just for curiosity?
Yeah, I was very curious.
That's really great. But your parents came to Germany as immigrants. And so maybe when there's so many immigrants like that, it's harder for the children to move into different positions until they've lived their lives there.
Yeah, we are the second generation
there.
There are 3 million Turkish roots people in Germany.
Doesn't it take time to really set your roots down?
Yes, it's getting better and better, I would say.
You were very determined, evidently, and like all immigrant families, but you had a terrible story that went along with it about your family, your father.
Yes. I know, but I don't want really to talk about that now. I hope you respect this. And
I do, but it was...
Because it's, I cannot talk about it 24 hours.
I know, but the thing was that you had to overcome a lot of things to get to where you were going?
Of course, yeah. We all, also my siblings and lots of friends of other decents, had to do work hard or twice or minimum twice.
Twice
to get
as hard?
Also in school to get the same notes and. Yeah, it was but it makes you stronger.
I was going to say, it makes you more determined, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And you know what you're doing, you know what you're going for.
Yeah, and I think even it's hard, nothing is impossible, okay, but you have to try it at least, yes?
Exactly.
If you want it and it is your way, you have to try it. And if it's not working, you said, I tried it.
Exactly.
And you don't regret it, and that's my thinking.
But that takes a really inner, strong person, and it shows. Let's talk about the plays. The play in Vienna, the conversation between Hannah Arendt and Adolf Eichmann. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, it was a great stage show reading also with a great actress and another actor who played the Eichmann. Yeah, it is a kind of a young student who comes in a museum, and I'm the young student, and there are two vexations, and they come alive, Hannah Arendt and Eichmann, and then they have a conversation. Hannah is talking about what happened in the court and everything, and Eichmann is talking, and I ask questions.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
So you're like the journalist in a way.
Yeah, I like a student who starts thinking what happened. And
what did Hannah do? What was her character?
She was Hannah.
What was she known for?
She was, Hannah was at the court. She's a philosopher.
Yeah, that's what I want you to
One
tell
of
us.
the first. She's a very known philosopher, and she was at the court when Eichmann was judged, and she was. She did big reports.
She wrote about it.
Yeah, she was a very revolutionist.
Revolutionist. I love it. Because
Yes,
you probably
very
speak, what do you
strong.
speak, Turkish?
German, English. And when I'm in America, I have to get used to the language again.
No, I think you're doing fine.
I hope
so. Did you travel with that play? Or
No,
did you do?
With that play, we were just in Vienna. Yes. But I traveled a lot with the play of Anne Frank.
Tell us about that.
It's a great.
Anne Frank.
Yes.
The Diary, and it's at the Museum of Tolerance.
It's at the Museum of Tolerance. I had the performance yesterday and today, and also on the 14th.
And does it go somewhere else?
It was already in Germany, Luxembourg, Prague, in Canada. But in Canada it was more a stage reading for young students.
Are they all readings?
It is called stage reading, but it's more like a play.
And what does it mean? Are you in costume?
I have just a simple dress, and there is just a bed and a table, and I play the lines of Anne originally.
Do you read?
No, I don't read. I play her. I talk with my diary. Yes. It's her lines, nothing invented, and it's just her, and that's this beautiful thing in it, and that's also the big challenge because the role is not invented, the written words are not invented. It's coming from the role, and it's something great. I can't. I'm always touched.
It's overwhelming.
Yes.
What about your director?
Yes.
Where's he from?
He's from Luxembourg. He's Charles Müller is his name. He's a great director, very human, and he had this idea of this project.
Oh, he did.
Long time ago, and he wanted to do it, and he said always he didn't find the actors for that.
And then he found you.
And then when he saw my picture, and he said, and this I have to ask her. And then when he asked me, I was very honored and very happy.
Were you always going to be an actress? Did you always want to do that?
I wanted always, but I started to study law, but realized that it's very interesting, and I'm happy that I did it. But my heart was more going to acting.
But lawyers are actors anyway.
Yes, but I wanted to. I think also with art and movies, theaters, you can also send messages, reach people, and maybe also do something for against injustice, for justice, for tolerance, for respect, and do something good in the world.
And I think that's what you're doing when you talk about outreach, because you did a show for the children. And how old are they?
Today in the morning they were like, I think between 12 to
teenagers.
17.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Like Anne was too. Yeah.
And then you did a question and answer afterwards.
Yes, afterwards.
What do they ask you?
How I felt when I played Anne Frank, how if I also play in movies.
Did they cry in the audience?
I don't know, Nedim, did they cry?
Her brother's on set.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I heard that some of them cry.
Because they're so moved.
Yes.
And then a stage reading, though, is just like a play. It's like a one-person play, right?
It was one
it's like
stage, one
yeah.
person.
So it's easy to move it from place to place. I mean, like
yes,
the next time.
It's very simple. It's easy, yes.
Do you think you'll stay in Hollywood now?
Oh, I have to leave on the 16th because I have a movie shooting in Bosnia.
Oh, you
Yes.
do?
Unfortunately, I would stay longer.
Is Germany a big film country? Do they make a lot of films?
They do great movies too, but I'm not. I'm always traveling. My last movie was in Switzerland. I had to learn German.
Oh, you did? Oh, you did?
Now I will play in Bosnia. A Bosnian woman. I will play in Bosnian. I learned for Anne Frank now in English.
Oh, you did?
For here, for her 80th birthday, which is today. And the movies I had before is also what was an American-German movie, Shortcut to Hollywood, will come this year to cinema, and it was in English too. And so it's very international.
So it doesn't matter where you live.
For me, it is a big. It's important that the story is good, the role is good and has quality, and I love to combine my work with a message.
And you did it in this play. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. And keep writing to us at 777 South Figueroa, 44th floor, Los Angeles 90017. We'll see you next time on the Joan Quinn Profiles.